fourth chapter of Pesachim, first Mishna. All right, now let's do the introduction here. The laws of Erev Pesach, in other words, the 6 hours, let's say, before Pesach, from midday until Pesach starts in the evening, is more severe. There's laws. There are things that are forbidden to do. For instance, before Shabbos, you're not supposed to start a big meal right before Shabbos. You're not supposed to. Before Pesach, it's even more severe. Why? Than on the other holidays. the hours right before Pesach opens up begins. Let's say the 6 hours before Passover begins. When is Passover, by the way, this year? Let's have a look over here. When is Passover this year? Passover this year is, wow, Passover this year is Sunday. No, 1 minute. One minute. Yeah, Sunday. Passover is Sunday. In other words, Motzi Shabbos. Motzi Shabbos will be Pesach. Motzi Shabbos will be Pesach. Okay, this year we don't have this problem so much because Shabbos is right before Pesach. But usually if Pesach falls on any other day of the week, let's say Pesach falls on, it says there's 3 days of the week that Pesach cannot fall on. It can't fall out on Badu, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It can't. So let's say Pesach falls out on any of the other days, Thursday. So it falls on a Thursday. So therefore, Thursday in Hebrew, in the Hebrew calendar, begins Wednesday night. So Wednesday afternoon, before Wednesday night comes in, Wednesday night, in other words, the 6 hours before Passover are severe. They're severe. And more than the 6 hours or whatever before Shabbos or before any other holidays, it says on the hours before Shabbat or the other holidays, they didn't forbid only work from only like an hour and a quarter or something like 2 hours before the nightfall. But Erev Pesach, you can't do any work. You're not supposed to do any work from midday, from 12 o'clock in the afternoon, let's say, until night. The reason explained in the Talmud Yerushalmi, because from midday is already the time when you can bring this Pesach offering. And it's not right that a person should be doing in this holy time when you could be taking the offering, because the Pesach offering was taken before the holiday begins, right? So it says that's the way it was when, yeah. So it says also when they left Egypt also, right? They had to sacrifice it, and then in the daytime, and then they would eat it. All the sacrifices were made in the day, and then they would eat it in the nighttime. So it's not right that a person should sacrifice and bring and do work on that time. Nevertheless, the opinion of a lot of people that even this time, even nowadays, that we don't make a Pesach offering. Nevertheless, this is still what we do. We don't do work. Why? Because a person should be free in order to prepare for the night of the Seder. Right? Even the night of the Seder, there's a lot of work to be done, more than any of the other holidays. Right? You have to prepare the matzahs, and you have to prepare the moror, and you have to prepare the table. Usually people have a lot of guests. Also, that everything that the rabbis agreed with, even though that the reason has gone away, nevertheless, the decree still stays. Usually the decrees of the wise men, of the Chachamim, like in the Gemara and things like that, usually what they would do, they were two things. First of all, they would make the decree, and then they would wait a year until they gave the reason for the decree. That's number one. But in fact, the reason that they gave was only the logical reason or the apparent reason, but really there were spiritual things going on that they fixed up by means of these decrees that they made. Because you have to remember that Judaism is not just to go into heaven. Judaism is to make the world a better place. And in order to do that, you have to have all the channels have to be open. So therefore, a lot of these decrees. So here's the decree. It used to be in the time of the temple when they would make this Pesach offering, that all the time that it was permissible to make the Pesach offering. I got these things. I would like to know how can I get rid of these messages. I don't know. Okay. It says all the time that the Pesach offering was brought as you couldn't do any work. Well, now there is no Pesach offering brought, but nevertheless, there's a principle that laws made by the rabbis, even if the reason goes away, but the laws still stay there because the reasons were just external anyway. It was really fixing of something up. Our Mishna is coming to teach us that there are places that they had customs not to do work, even before midday, before 12, in order that a person shouldn't be doing any work and forget about getting rid of his chametz and slaughtering the Pesach and preparing. And even though that's only a custom, nevertheless, it's forbidden for a person to change the custom. So let's look at the Mishnah and we'll try a little bit. We'll begin the explanation. A place, makom, a place where they are accustomed to do work on Erev Pesach until midday, and others before 12 o'clock in the afternoon. After 12 o'clock, for sure, it's forbidden. But the places where they only prohibited work after midday, right? They permitted to do work, any work. You wanted to fix your car or whatever, fix your wagon. You could do it before midday, you could do it. But a place where they had a custom not to do any work, even from the morning, in other words, 12 hours before Passover, if you go to that place, then you can't do work, right? You come from a place where they did do work, right? You used to fix up your wagon at like 8 o'clock in the morning to go, but you go to a place where they didn't do any work, you have to stop doing work. You can't. What about the other way around? What if a person goes from a place, what if they do exactly that? A person goes from a place where they do work, right? You do fix up your garden and water your garden and then you sew your clothes up before 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You're in a place that they do, that's pretty normal. And you go to a place where they don't do work the whole entire day from the morning, or the other way around. If you go from a place where they do not do any work to a place where they do allow work. So it says, Notnim alav chomrei makom asher yatsa mishem. Then you have to act in the more severe way from where you came. In other words, if you came from a place where they don't do work, then you have to, even when you get to a place where they do work, so you shouldn't do work. We're going to see, it's a little bit complicated, we'll see. In any case, it says, they put on the person the severity of the place that you came from. So it says, we have to need an explanation to explain. And also the severity of the place that you're going to. So this logical should mean that if you move from one place, it doesn't make any difference. If you move from one place to another, and one of these places doesn't do work before 12, and a place does, so it doesn't make any difference really which way you go, right? You shouldn't do work. If you came from a place where they didn't do work, and you go to a place where they do work, so you have to be severe on yourself. So it's not understandable a little bit, the Mishnah. It should say that if you move from place to a place, you can't do work, right? You can't do work. It doesn't make any difference where the place you came from. If it's a place that you came from that they didn't do work, they didn't. You may have moved to a place where they all do work, so you have to not do work according to your place, because that's where you come from. Is that really true? So it means that no matter when you move, you always have to not do work. Is that really so? Well, we're going to have to see, God willing, on Sunday. Thank you very much. God bless you. Hope to see you tomorrow, 8:15 in the morning. Shalom. Over. What's this? Oh, this is my thing. Yeah, let's get out of here.